Hey everyone, it's PL Stewart here again. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Here, it's spring is in the air, definitely in Canada, where I am. Spring is in the air. I think it's coming. I see there's a tinge that kind of like that getting warm tinge, if you know what I mean. So yeah, spring is coming. So the reason I'm doing another spontaneous video this morning is to highlight the work of an absolutely fabulous author, Timothy Wolff, one of my favorite people in the community. He's just such a wonderful human. If you have a chance, check out the Six Elementals interview I did with Timothy. I loved his series, Legacy of BOULOM. I thought I'd do a quick video to kind of highlight it, give you an overview of why you should check it out. This is book one, Platinum to the Darkness, with one of my favorite characters on the front. I will get into that later. Book two, Tales of the Maelstrom. Gorgeous covers, eh? I love those lizard people. And Age of Arrogance. That is book three. So it is a trilogy. So why should you read this fantastic series? Let me talk a little bit about it first. So first of all, as I said, Timothy Wolff, very highly regarded indie author, especially getting well known for his novellas, which I have to get to here are fantastic. I've been racking up the finalist berths, etc. So he's really becoming known for his shorter fiction and fantasy. And I think for anyone who really enjoys unique world building and you have this really character focused epic fantasy, it's your bag. It's your bag. And it has a lot of unique concepts in this book. They said the world building is great, like the lore it's vast, right? It has like the classic style feel, and really like the really original combat kind of like mechanics. It's kind of like a mashup of like high fantasy and like the Greek inspired fantasy. Really, really good stuff. So in any case, the first book I had held up, and actually Timothy redid the covers. This is a reading cover, so Platinum to the Darkness is the first one. This kind of introduces the conflict of the novel and what's going to happen, and then Tears of the Maelstrom sets up what happens in the aftermath of the war that takes from the first book, and then it has kind of like a rogue mission of one of the characters that's going to essentially try to create a realm without gods. And then Age of Arrogance, the last book, stunning conclusion. David Wolff sticks the landing. It involves an assassination plot, let's just say. And then there's the rise of this new threat. So, and apparently there is which I have to read, there is a bonus novella. I think it's called Protocol of Valor, and it's a standalone, and it's set before the events of the main series. Don't know a lot about that, but I know it follows a different Crystal Mage, so I have to really check that out. Like I said, the series is awesome, so I really want to get into that. Hey, and we're joined by the wonderful Eddie. Eddie, how's it going, brother? Thanks so much for coming out. Eddie's a wonderful person in the community, someone I really admire and respect. Eddie, thanks so much for coming out to support. I really appreciate it. Oh, he says still like the old cover, book one. Give me a second. Where's the old cover? Where's the cover? What? Tinted Darkness. Sorry about that. I do have the old cover somewhere because that was what I originally got. And then Timothy was kind enough to send me the rest of the series. But so I apologize, Eddie. I wanted to put that old cover up, but in any case, I like the old cover too. But I must admit the new cover is pretty amazing as well. So going back to what the book series is all about. Again, the center of it is a war between gods and mortals. It's a completed series. I know I went back and forth here, but I want to just mention, like, if you're looking for a completed indie fantasy series, this is done. It's a trilogy, so something to really sink your teeth into. I know a lot of people have been, wanting to see more their favorite indie fantasy series completed, and I know sometimes people get a bit put off when they're waiting for one of their favorite series to be complete. So if you love Timothy's work, and this is an author you're really going to want to check out, and the series is complete. It's a trilogy, so just so you're aware. So essentially, the story starts, first book, Tinted Darkness. It's focused on this crystal mage. Her name is Serena. She's also like a guardian, someone who is responsible for protecting the realms. Her home is invaded by this rival realm, and she has to make this choice. She has this, think of the Prime Directive, Star Trek. You got this vow, like non-interference, and it's sacred, and she's got to choose between her vow versus, her people surviving. So, not to spoil too much, essentially breaks this vow so she can take part in this war of survival. And she's tempted by a god who offers her, a lot of power in order to stop this invasion, but there's a cost of entering this god's service. So that is, without spoiling too much, that's the plot of the series. So I mentioned she's a guardian. So these guardians, they're led by a veteran. His name's David, and they have to. This group led by this very seasoned David. He's seasoned, but he's also burnt out. So that's important to know. He's seasoned. He's a veteran. He's burnt out. It's a great cast of characters. These guardians. They each have their own very distinct personalities, and they're wonderful. But the point is, they have to navigate all these schemes of all these multiple gods who are looked to control everything, right? And it makes it very high stakes, because when the Guardians go on these missions, they're top shelf missions, they're essentially going to kill gods. So the atmosphere there makes it extremely tense, really action packed. It's just great stuff, and the fight scenes are fabulous, right? The characters, they're very endearing, but they're flawed. And I think what you'll find too is Timmy does a great job with the villains are not mustache twirling. They do have depth, especially as the series goes along. You see, how well honed and how well fleshed out the villains are. So that's definitely something that I have to give him a lot of praise for. It is the series becomes more intense as the books ramp up, and the last book, Age of Arrogance, just amazing, high stakes, lots of unexpected twists in this book, right? It is just an awesome series. It's fast. One thing I have to mention is that I'm typically more a fan of the slower paced books, but if you want something fast and they're not too big and they're quick, but still, it's not like they're lacking depth. But yeah, if you want that fast, like kind of like palate cleanser, where if you like reading Evan Winter and that series, The Burning, Rage of Dragons, where the fight scenes are quick and there's not a lot of weight between them. You don't have to wait for them. Like, I think this is definitely going to be your bag, right? But I think the whole theme of mortals versus gods, I mean, that's a timeless trope that Timothy does so well. A world where, as well too, I should mention, like Malazan, these gods were once mortal and they ascend, right? And then they try to manipulate, in some cases, some of their friends who they knew well, and they play on their emotions and they try to get them to their side. So that's really, really well done. And it's tough because they said the Guardians, they're kind of sworn to this neutrality, but they have to protect the realm from these meddling gods. But a lot of them, perhaps, they've known when the gods were mortal. So it's really, really fascinating stuff. Really well done. Like I said, I've really enjoyed this series. So Eddie just commented, read there a couple years back. Definitely great series. Definitely recommend to anybody. Thank you so much, Eddie. Yeah. This is a great series again. Fast paced. Something it doesn't take a lot of commitment to delve into. 3 books. Read the companion novella too. Check out the rest of Timothy Wolff's work. Again, as I said, he's really getting a lot of kudos for his novellas. I haven't read them yet. I'm more on the science fiction end. A lot of them, again, have been really getting a lot of acclaim. So check out anything that Timothy Wolff writes. Great author and just a fabulous human being. Again, check out my interview with him on Six Elementals. So Legacy of BOULOM, great series, fast-paced. My favorite character. Sardonyx. Oh my gosh. What can we say about Sardonyx? I'm not going to spoil Sardonyx and his arc. By the way, Timothy, you nearly broke me with his arc. But it was just wonderful. In any case, that is my quick overview of Legacy of BOULOM. Go check it out for the world building, for the really great pacing, fast paced, the battles. One thing to be warned about is that it does, I mean, for me, it worked well. It does in terms of there's like tone shifts in the dialogue between like, it has more the classic style and then goes to very, very contemporary modern style. So just be warned that, you know, if that doesn't work for you, that is part of this, but you know, and typically it wouldn't work for me either, but it did. In this case, it did. I think that's a credit to the author that when he switches between the more modern slang and jargon versus the more archaic type writing, just be warned it's there, but it did work for me. So, and it was very funny. There's a lot of humor. I should mention that too. There's a lot of humor, a lot of poking fun at a lot of things that, especially if you're an author and if you're an author of fantasy, that I think, the humor will land with you. The humor will land with you. So, in any case, that's my quick review of an overview of the Legacy of BOULOM, by Timothy Wolff. Great series, trilogy, really fantastic, fast-paced. Not a lot, as you can see. I mean, that's probably the average. The width of these is probably the average of the fantasy books. One fantasy books that I read. One fantasy book. So I think you can get into this really quickly, and you'll have a completed series under your belt and a great series that is highly entertaining and worth your time. So that was my quick overview. Eddie, thanks so much for coming out, my friend. Always great to see you, and thank you so much for all your support. And everybody, check out the series. Okay? Have a good day. Take care now. Bye-bye.